Hi, everybody. I'm Gideon Katz. I'm a team lead here at Google on the IAC Applications account, and Mike is the VP of Marketing over at IAC Applications. IAC Applications is one of our biggest advertisers at Google, and that's mostly because of their lead in export. And that's what we're here to talk to you about today. Mike has a few slides to show you, and then I'm going to grill him with some questions. So Mike, do you want to take it?
That's right. All right, so first I just want to thank the Google and the Get team for allowing me to speak to you today. I'm going to attempt to explain why I raised my hand on Jay's question about who's doing well in export. So first off, IAC Applications is the company that we represent, and who we are is a global developer of software and applications for the desktop browser and mobile. We have over 70 products that we've developed in-house. We distribute those in over 200 different countries in over 7 different languages. So the opportunities for us on a global scale are immense, and prioritization of those opportunities is one of the things that we really try to focus on. So we have over 100 million active monthly users that participate with our products as well. So we are large. So let me explain a little bit about how we think about our global investment strategy. What that means to us is we started out, like most advertisers, in English markets, the US, Canada, UK, Australia. And you know, what Jay said earlier about 90% of the internet users, the people that are connected, being outside of the US, is something that we ended up recognizing kind of into our growth that that in order to find those pockets of growth, we were going to have to go outside of the English-speaking markets. And so how we do that is we look at things like GDP of countries, we look at internet connection, and we look at other factors that are relevant to our business. And then we take our current investment dollars and we compare that to those metrics. And what we see is that the more dark green, the more opportunity there is for us to potentially invest in those areas. So working with the Get team to get that audience insights and understand which of our products are going to resonate in those different markets that fall out of this methodology of evaluation is really important to our global expansion strategy. And so from that, we've been working with the Get team for over 4 years now. We've been focusing on a number of different countries, but I wanted to highlight 3 in particular. So France, Germany, and Japan. And the interesting thing about these is that in terms of users' browser language setting, all of these are drastically non-English. 2 of them are over 90%, 1 of them is over 70%. And so to penetrate into those markets, to get the click-through rates and the conversion rates that we're looking for as advertisers using English is probably not the best strategy as marketers. And so we've worked closely with the Get team to localize and translate our products in these areas. And what we've seen over the last 2 years from our results are we've had 50% growth in the number of users that we're acquiring in France. We've had 180% growth in the number of users that we're able to acquire in Germany, and we've had over 4,000% growth in Japan. So thinking back to Jay's previous slide about some of the biggest GDP and biggest exports, Japan is one of those that they identified for us. It's 97% Japanese. If you're not translated, if you're not localized, you're likely not going to make headroads into that. And so the Get team is working hand in hand with us in that initiative to make sure that we're succeeding. And it's been an immense success. So as an advertiser, advertiser to advertiser, I want to let you know that they are here supporting, and our results are showing it. So, so thank you.
Thanks, Mike. So as you mentioned, we started working together about 4 years ago, and at that time, like international represented about 0% of your business. it was just a rounding error on the business.
Yep.
Can you take these folks through your journey from English only in the US to multiple languages worldwide?
Yeah, absolutely. As a business, we thought that we were pretty successful when we were tackling the U.S. and the Canada and succeeding. So, like most advertisers, we were focused on that growth, and we were focused on that, how do we get 10% growth for the business? How do we get 20% growth for the business? And I think that when we started to work with the Get team, what we understood was there's a whole lot more users that are connected to the internet than just those English users. And so it made a lot of sense for us to start to expand into Spanish and Portuguese, and then that was very successful. And so it made sense to go into France and German. And then Japan is just the most recent example of that success of working together and that path that that journey that we've been taking together.
So I know early on we explored briefly, really right before Get came into existence, explored finding some vendor to translate campaigns for us, and it was something like 50 cents a word or something like that.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So I think, like most advertisers, right, we're all concerned about ROI. We're all concerned about the bottom line. We're concerned about profitability. And so when we start to think about translating our marketing assets and translating our product experiences and localizing, that can be really daunting when you start to investigate it, and it will add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars in investment, and you don't know what the payoff is. And so, leveraging the Get team and that coming along as an opportunity really allowed us to capitalize and take advantage of that free resource, and kind of take that out of the equation of expanding. So we have found that not only is it more cost effective because we're not paying for those translations and those services, but the audience insights that we are getting us through that learning curve of who the audience is, how we need to be talking to them, much better than if we were doing it on our own.
You have any examples of some interesting insights you've gotten along the way that have helped you move the business forward?
Yeah, I mean, I'm focused on Japan right now, right, because it's such a great story for us. But we were doing virtually nothing 2 years ago in Japan from an acquisition standpoint, and the Get team shared with us the connectivity of users in Japan. Something like over an average Japanese user spends over an hour on their desktop and over an hour on their mobile phone per day. So, to Jay's earlier point, they take it in the shower with them. I don't know if that's when we're acquiring them, but it's interesting nonetheless. And so that gave us confidence. It was something that we didn't understand about that audience, and they have people that are local in those markets and that are doing surveys and that are understanding those insights. And so that was one of the things that was really a catalyst for us to jump into the Japanese market, and we're thrilled that we did.
Yes, as are we. It's been a great story. So thank you. During my 5 years at Google, working with IAC Applications specifically on the international initiative has been my #1 highlight, and we love the partnership. And thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.